Hello developers and welcome back. In this section, we're going to build the most complex and intuitive application I've ever built. This application reviews and contains almost all Android app development concepts and Jetpack Compose concepts. We're going to start with the complex user interface building. So we're going to make professional Android user interface. We're going to build complex UIs like those. So start by the scaffold, by the items, by the sections, and so on. Also, we're going to design different screens like categories, like products, like others. So we're going to make a very complex and very intuitive UI design. Also, we're going to master very complex topics like health dependency injection, room database persistence, and Firebase Firestore backend. We're going to fetch the categories from Firestore database. So we have two collections, categories and products. We have inside the categories 3 documents: toys, electronics, and home appliances. You can notice that there are 3 categories. You can click on see all. We have 3 categories. Let me add a new category. Start with ID, which is of type string. Let me name it as number 5. Set auto ID for the document. Add a new field by pressing this. Also, we need to set the name. For example, cosmetics. Add another field, the icon URL. Copy this image URL and paste it here. Click save, and here we go. This is the cosmetics category. Okay, so it's a real-time application. Whenever you add a new category, the new category will be displayed instantaneously. Now let's move to the products collection. We have inside the electronics, we have 2 products. Product 1 and product 2 belongs to the category ID number 1. Okay, so I am linking the products with the categories using the category ID field. Also, inside this application, we're gonna learn the Firebase authentication system. So here, we're going to use the Firebase authentication system. We're going to allow the user to sign up, sign in, and sign out. Okay, so whenever the user's logged in, he will be directed to the categories section. Also, there is a very important thing we need to learn here inside this application, which is the room database. So we're going to implement the room database to our application in terms of adding to cart. So when the user clicks on any product, it will display a new screen showing the details of this product, the name, the price, and the category or the content description, also allowing the user to add it to the cart. Back to the home screen, here we can notice that we have a cart. See that we have 2 products, the LG TV and the Asus ROG Strix laptop, and the total is 2,787. Okay, can also remove products and keep them into the cart. Also, you can implement proceed to checkout later when we implement the payment SDKs in the next sections. You can add those payments to our application. Okay, so we have the profile screen, we have the cart screen, we have the categories screen, we have the products screen, and the product details screen. It's a very complex application. Also, we implement the search functionality. So whenever you search for any product, for example, Asus, and hit enter, you will get a new composable, a new search result section displaying the corresponding product that you are searching for. Okay, it's a very complex application containing many things, many concepts. Okay, it's a lot, about 60 videos, and we are adding more features to it and updating this app later in the next couple of months. Okay, so congratulations, guys. Let's start building this amazing application and very professional app and become a professional Android app developer. Hello, developers, and welcome back. In this application, we're gonna build the user interface at first. Then we need to move to the functionality. So we're gonna add the hilt, room, Firebase, all these complex things in one very interesting application. So in this application, we're gonna start with the UI, because I'm gonna share these videos, the UI with and creating composables with YouTube, and then we need to move to the functionalities only available in our Udemy course. So let's start building this user interface. By the way, there are a lot of screens we're gonna build in this application. I want from you to focus with me and be patient, please. Okay, let's start building a new project in Android Studio. Select empty compose activity. Here, set the name. You can name it as Ecommerce app or Shop Easy. So on our YouTube channel, you get all these UI and the composable stuff. And on our Udemy course, you'll get the functionality, how to add Firebase room and make this app functional, plus the compose and the UI designing. Okay. Here in Android Studio, we need to make it more clean, and we were going to arrange stuff like making a package for screens, one for home, and inside home we need to create many composables and so on. So every page, every navigation screen, it will be arranged in a clean and clear way. As I told you, I'm not gonna start with adding Firebase and Room and Hilt to our project. I'll skip this step. My first step here is to create the user interface. Then we're going to start from the beginning and add the Firebase, Hilt, and Room database dependencies and start creating the model view model, implementing Hilt dependency injection with Room and Firebase Firestore. Inside this package, Kotlin plus Java package, create a new package named as screens. Inside the screens package, create another package named as home. Inside the home, create a new Kotlin file named as home screen. Start with the composable annotation function home screen, and here we're gonna pass many parameters. I'll keep it now empty. Inside this home screen, create a scaffold, and let's add some parameters to this scaffold. We have top bar and bottom bar. So this is the top bar containing the title, the icon, the cart icon, and the profile icon. Also, this is the bottom bar containing 5 categories or 5 items: home, categories, wish list, cart, and profile. So this is the first part, and this is the second part of our scaffold. Also, we have the container color. We can specify the material theme and get the background of this scaffold. For this scaffold, in Jetpack Compose, scaffold is a layout component that provides a basic structure for an app screen. It helps you implement the material design layout structure easily by handling common UI elements like top app bar, bottom bar, floating action button, drawer, scan or snack bar, content area, and so on. So if we go to the scaffold, we can see parameters we can provide modifier, top bar, bottom bar, snack bar, host, and others. We are interested in bottom bar and the top bar. So here, let me specify the top bar. Let's create another composable here. I'm going to create everything in another files and another or standalone files because to make it more pretty. Name it as top app bar, create a new file, and here make it a new composable function. Name it as top app bar, and here top app bar. I'll name this function as top app bar, my top app bar, in order to distinguish it from the top app bar available in Compose. So here, Alt plus Enter to import it. Top app bar, we can specify many attributes like the title. Title, we need to specify a text here. Use this text composable, text attribute, shop easy, style, material theme, and let's add some attributes to this text using copy. Set the font weight to bold and the color equals to material theme dot color scheme dot on primary. Okay, this is our top app bar. Alt plus Enter to import the text composable, and here we go. This is the first part. We need to specify the second part, which is the colors. So here, this is for the title. Set the colors here. Set the container color to deep blue. I specify it here using the color. And the title content color to white. Set top app bar defaults. Opt in experimental design, so you can notice this annotation is added. Material experimental material 3 API. Now set the actions equals to. We need to use these two icons, the cart and the profile. So actions equals to. Inside this row scoop, we need to define two icon buttons. This is the first one, and this is the second one. Okay. Inside the icon button parameters, later we will set on click. I'll keep it now empty for later use. So here, don't make anything. I'll mark this and mark this by these in order to add the on-click attributes and the on-click functionality later in the next videos. So icon, image vector, we can use, import the icons. Instead of search, we are going to use shopping cart. You can use white is good. The same way, copy this icon and paste it here. Default is count, circle, and set the profile. Let's run our application and specify my top bar inside the home screen. So here, top app bar, my top app bar. My top app bar included inside these curly braces, and set the scaffold whatever you want. For example, make a demo text just to remove the error from the scaffold scoop. Okay, suppress unused scaffold. Here we go. You can use suppress unused material 3 scaffold padding parameter and run the app. We need to call the home screen inside the main activities. So remove these composables and set the content here inside the theme, set home screen. Run the app for the last time. And here we go. This is our lovely colors and the lovely top app bar. Okay. Welcome back. We finished the top bar. Now let's design the bottom navigation bar. Create a new Kotlin file named as bottom navigation bar. New composable function bottom navigation bar. Later we need to pass the nav controller, but for now we're going to design the bottom navigation bar. Let me create a list called items. Val items equals to list of Here, we need to set the items. We have 5 items: the home, categories, wish list, card, and the profile items. At first, let me define the first one. But instead of using this bottom nav item, we need to customize it. So here, if I use bottom nav item.home, it will set only a name. But if I create a class here, a data class called bottom nav item, I can customize that title, icon, route, and badge count. Because if you notice that we have a badge, so we're going to introduce the badge count 5, 3, and so on. Okay. Val title, it's of type string. Val icon, it's of type image vector. Val route, it's of type string, and val badge count type int equals to 0. I created this data class to make a bottom nav item models and items and to be fully customized. Here, let me create an items list. It's of type bottom nav items, and these items contain the title, icon, and the route. So here, title, home, icons, which is icons.default.home, and the route is home. Set it to capital letter. Another bottom navigation item, which is the not cart, it is categories. By the way, I am activating Android AI code completion tool. So it's active. So it suggests for me those codes. Okay. Categories, we can use the search, and here set the category route to route. Bottom navigation item, we need to use the wish list, use the icon favorites, and set the route to cart. And here we can specify another parameter, which is the badge count. Set it to 5. So if you notice here, we have this badge 5. So we can display it to the wish list. Another bottom navigation item, set the title to cart also, and set the badge icon to 3. Use shopping cart, and here we go. And the last thing we need to add is the profile. Icons default person and its profile. Okay, it's very simple. This is the navigation system for us. Now let's create the navigation bar that uses this list and publish those items. Okay, so here create navigation bar, set the modifier height 82 dp, import the extension. The container color is white and tonal elevation equals to 8 dp. Now, inside the navigation bar, we need to specify navigation and we need to publish our items. For this, so here start with items dot for each, and for every item inside this items list, go and create a category and a bottom navigation item inside our bottom navigation bar. Okay, Alt plus enter to import the color. And here we have 2 types of items. We have items with no badges and one with badges. We have a badged box. In order to distinguish them, we're going to depend on badge count variable. Please pay attention for this logic. Set for every item inside the items list, go and create a navigation bar item and set the icon to. We have 2 types of icons. Icons with badge and here icons without badges. Okay, now items with badge. If item dot badge count, here we set the item or it, you can use it because it's a bottom navigation item, or you can specify it explicitly here like item like this. So there's no use of it. Badge count greater than 0. If the badge count greater than 0, then go and create for us a badged box, set the badge equals to badge, and set the text inside it, item.backBadgeCount.toString. Here I'm getting badge count from the variable and then setting it to the badge inside the badged box. And here we set the content to icon and set the image vector like this, and set the image vector, and make sure you import the correct icon. So here, since I'm using image vector, you need to import this image vector. Here we go, the item title, and set here the modifier equals modifier.size 24 plus dp. Okay, this is our badged box. Now we need to add remaining arguments like on click, for example, here on selected and on click. So I remove all these parameters, and later we're going to add the on click. Now we need to specify the items without the badge. So without badge, use else here, create an icon with image vector, icon, content description, item title, and modifier is 24 dp. This is very simple. And inside this navigation bar item, we have two types of icons, one with badges like this, wish list and the cart, and one without badges like categories, home, and profile. So this is the logic behind how we distinguish and how to create icons with and without badges. Okay, it's very simple. Now let's specify the click and the other attributes here. Here, let me make the label equals to text item.title and set the selected. When it's selected, set to the current root equals to item.root. Let me create this variable here and set val current root equals to empty string. Scroll down, and later we're going to use it in our navigation system. So here, let me set the current root equal to the item root. And on click, we need to do it later. So I'll keep it like this. Okay, this is our bottom navigation bar. Let me call it inside the home screen. Inside our scaffold, we have another parameter, which is the bottom bar, and call the bottom navigation bar that we created before. Run, and congratulations guys, you see the bottom navigation bar here. Okay, so congratulations guys, we added to our app a scaffold containing the top app bar and the bottom navigation bar. Welcome back. We need to design the search bar now. Create a new Kotlin file named as search bar. New composable named as search bar. And inside the search bar, we need to pass a query parameters of type string on query change, which is a lambda expression, takes string and returns nothing. And pass the third parameter is on search, which is a lambda expression, taking nothing and returning nothing. We need to set a modifier parameter and set the modifier here equals to modifier. Now we need to set the content of this search bar. Set a box layout. Here we have a modifier equals to modifier dot height 50 dp or rounded corner shape 25. Set the background color dot light gray dot copy and set the alpha here to 0.3 or 0.2 f. This is the transparency. The alignment dot center start. Okay, this is very simple. I'm just creating a box layout in order to place things overlap because I need to display an icon overlapped above this text field. We need to create a row because search bar, and also we have a text field here with this icon. Okay, create a row. inside this row parameters, set the modifier equals to modifier dot fill maximum size dot padding 16 dp, which is horizontally, and vertical alignment equals to alignment dot center vertically. Here I'm creating a row that contains icon and a text field. Start with the icon that defines the search icon. Content description is search, and the last thing is the color you can specify, which is color.gray. Then create a spacer, modifier equals to modifier dot width 8 dp, and then set a text field. We need to pass the value, which is the query. The second thing we need to add is on value change, on query change, single line, yes, true, modifier dot fill maximum width. You can set the colors here. Also, you can use a placeholder, for example, a text composable, search products, set the color to color.gray, font size equals to 16 sp. Okay, this is good. Now we need to set a keyboard action and keyboard actions options. Okay, so here keyboard options. These two lines customize the keyboard behavior in a text field or text input. The keyboard option tells the system what button to show on the keyboard, usually at the bottom right. And here, the IME search means the keyboard will show a search icon button instead of default enter or next. There are another actions you can do, control plus space. You can set default, send if you are creating a text messaging application, go, done, next, previous, none, and so on. For this, I am good with the search. Also, we have another parameter for this text field called the keyboard actions. This defines what to do when the user taps the search button on the keyboard. On search means that we're going to call on search function when the search key is pressed. Now let's move to the home screen, and here we need to specify the search bar. We notice that we specified the top app bar and the bottom bar inside the scaffold. Now we need to set the content of this scaffold. Here we have the padding values. Also, we can opt the missing of these paddings in a new annotation here, but this is good. Here we need to create a new column. Inside this column, we're going to place the search results, the categories, the featured products, and so on. Also, we're going to add the search bar to this column. Set the modifier to fill maximum width, maximum size, and set the padding to the padding values. Okay? Inside this column, place the search section, place the categories section, featured products section, and the search results section. Okay, we have four sections. Let me start with the search section. Start with val search query equals to remember mutable state of empty string, and val focus manager equals to local focus manager dot current. What does these two lines of code means? The mutable state of creates a state variable like a box that holds data initialized with an empty string. Remember is used to tell Compose to remember this state across recompositions, so the value doesn't reset every time the UI redraws. So search query is a state variable that holds the current text the user is typing, like in a search bar. Think of it as, hey Compose, here's a piece of code or piece of text that can change over time. Please remember it so it survives UI updates. And Focus Manager, this gives access to the current Focus Manager, which is used to control focus on UI components like text fields. Focus Manager can be used to move focus, clear it, like hiding the keyboard and etc. Okay? Welcome back. Let's continue with the search section. Here, let me call the search bar that we created before. Please pay attention, we have two versions. The search bar is from our package and the search bar is from Android package. I need to use the search bar that we already created in the previous couple of minutes. Okay, we need to specify the query, search query.value on query change equals to search query dot value equals to it on search equals to search view model, and here later on we're going to use the view models to get and call the search products function. So I'll annotate it with search logic, do search logic. Then we need to use the modifier and pass the modifier dot fill maximums or width, it's good, and set the padding 16 dp. Let me run, and here we go. We have this search bar. Okay, you can notice that the colors are different. So here we have a transparent color and seeing the background. Here you can notice that the text field is different from this color. To solve this issue, we can go back to the search bar here and set the colors parameter equals to text field defaults dot colors, and here we have, if we go to the text field defaults, we have many parameters like on focus the indicator thickness, and we can specify many attributes like the colors. So here on focus text color, on disabled text color, and all of these colors. Okay, so here I'm interested in some colors. The focused container color, color.transparent, unfocused color, container color, color transparent, also the disabled container color and focused indicator color are transparent. Okay, these are the colors that we're going to specify. Run the app again, and here we go. You can notice that the colors are beautiful and they are matching the background of this row. Okay, so it's very beautiful now and amazing application. Let's continue in the next videos to create the search results, the categories, and the featured sections. Welcome back. Now let's design the title, the section title here. For example, the search results, the categories, the featured titles. So we're going to create one composable that defines and that customize the section titles. Here inside the home, create a new Kotlin file named as section title and create a new composable named as section title. This section title takes into the parameters as string title, action text, it's of type string, and on action click, it's of type a lambda expression that returns nothing and takes nothing into the parameter. This is our section title. Now we need to create a row. We have a row containing a categories text and see all text that allows us to move to the categories screen or featured products screen when the user clicks on it. For that, let me create a row, set the modifier maximum width, set the horizontals to 16 dp and the vertical to 8 dp paddings. Set the horizontal arrangement to arrangement dot space between and the vertical alignment to alignment dot center vertically. we need to set the content of this row. For that, let me start with text, composable, having the title and a style parameter, which is bold. I'm specifying it as bold. Now let's create another text, which is see all. Create a text and pass the action text, the style similar to that we've done here, and set it to body medium, and the color equals to primary color. I'll set this primary color inside the colors, so res or UI.theme colors. Let me create a new variable called primary color equals to color. And here we need to pass the value of this primary color. Set it to 0xff. This is the purple. I'm going to call it Alt plus Enter to import, and here we go. Okay. Then one last thing we need to do is modifier dot clickable on action. You can notice that the modifier dot clickable and calling the on action click lambda expression is a new thing that we introduced in our applications. This line makes the text clickable like a button. So modifier.clickable, this is a modifier that handles click interactions, and on action click is a lambda function that runs when the text is tapped. So when the user taps the text, the action text see all, for example, the on action click function is triggered. Okay, so I am creating this in order to allow the user to click on it and go to the categories or to the featured sections. Okay, let me move to the home screen again. And here, let me remove these spaces. We have 4 sections: the search section, the search result section, categories section, and the featured products section. I'll skip this search result section for later implementation when we add all the functionalities. And here I'm going to create the categories section. So inside the categories section, start with section title, set it to categories, and pass the action text, for example, view all or see all. And this is good. And here we need to set, for example, the navigation. So let me make it to do add navigation. Also in the featured products, but before, let me add some space. So spacer modifier equals to modifier dot height 16. Alt plus Enter to import the function spacer. And here the featured products, let me add the section title, featured, see all. Okay. Of course, we need to do the same, add the navigation and click on this in order to later add the functionality and the navigation system when handling the action clicks and the button clicks. And also when we implement the view model and call the functions from the view models. Let me run our application. Here we go. We have the section title and the section action, categories, and featured sections. Okay, so this is clickable, and here we go. This is our lovely application. Welcome back. We finished the section titles. Now let's deep dive into the categories section. Here we need to create these cards, these chips for every category. I'll mock the categories and later when we start and we move to the functionality like connecting Firebase, Room, and Hill, we're going to remove this mock or fake data and then replace it with the new and real data. Here inside the categories section, I'm gonna start creating a new composable named as category chip. For this, create a new Kotlin file named as category chip. I mean category chip by this rounded card. Okay? Composable category chip will take icon of type string, text of type string is selected boolean, and on click it's of type lambda expression. Then we need to specify the content of this composable. Let's start by the card. Alt plus enter to import the function card. Then we need to specify the shape, rounded corner shape 16 dp. Alt plus enter to import the extension. Then colors equals to card defaults. We need to specify the container color. If is selected, then go and apply the materials theme. Yes, I'm gonna remove it and apply category chip color. Go to the colors here inside the color.kt file under UI themes and create a new variable named as category chip color. Okay, its color is green. Here I'm using it, so Alt plus enter to import it. Else we need to use a color. Import the color light gray dot copy and set the alpha to 0.1f. Okay, this is good. Then we need to specify some more parameters for this. Border stroke is selected, then put it to 0 dp, else it's 1 dp. Set the color light gray dot copy and set the alpha to 0.3. Here I'm telling Android Studio if it is selected, go and make it no borders. Otherwise, make a border for it 1 dp. If you back to here, you can notice that the selected icon has no borders, but the not selected icon will have a border with 1 dp. Then don't miss to use the modifier dot clickable, and here we need to use the onClick function. Okay, that it is passed as a parameter for the category chip. Then we need to specify the content of this card. The main idea here is the root element would be a card. Inside this card, we need to create a row containing an icon and a text. It's very simple. Okay, now set some attributes for this row. The vertical alignment dot center vertically, modifier padding horizontal 16 dp, I make it 12, and vertical 8 dp. This is the row. I need to create two things, the icon and the text. Let me start with the icon. Put the painter equals to remember async image painter icon, and the content description text tint if it is selected. Then make the color dot white, otherwise make it color dot black. Set the modifier equals to modifier size 20 dp. Okay, this is very simple. Alt plus enter to import the composable icon, and remember async image painter is from the coil library. Let me add the coil library. The coil library is used to display image effectively and in a fast way in Compose and in Jetpack Compose and Android applications. You can go to coil-kt.github.io/coil/compose and copy this implementation. Let me move to the Gradle scripts and module level, scroll down, paste this implementation. You can replace it with a new category declaration for Coil Compose, but I prefer using the old way for demonstration purposes, and hit sync now. Remember, async image painter is a function provided by the coil image loading library in Jetpack Compose. It's used to load and display images from URLs and other sources asynchronously in Jetpack Compose UI. Why we are using remember async image painter? It creates an image painter that asynchronously loads an image. It uses composes remember to cache and reuse the image painter during recompositions. So here we are fetching the image from the icon asynchronously, automatically cache and display the image and handle recompositions efficiently with remember state. Back to the category chip.kt file, Alt plus enter to import this function. Now we need to modify the text here, set the text equals to text, the past text. If we go back, we have the parameter icon, text is selected and on click. We used them all. Okay, so here the color equals to if is selected. If it is selected, then set the color dot white, else color dot black, style material theme dot typography dot body medium, and modifier equals to modifier dot padding, and set the start equals to 8 dp. The text here, you can notice that they are black. If it is selected, then go and make it white. So the selected ones are in white, the non-selected ones are in black. Let me call this category chip inside the home screen. We need to test our UI. In order to do that, I'm gonna mock the creation of categories. So I'm gonna make a fake categories as a list. And later when we move to the functional part, when we finish the UI designing, we need to move to the functional part. We need to integrate the Firebase Firestore database and fetch the data, fetch the products, fetch the categories from online database. But for now, I'm gonna create a new package named as model. Inside this model, create a new category class. This class would be a data class and it holds 3 parameters. Val ID is of type int equals to 0, initial is 0. Val name of type string equals to nothing, empty string. And val icon URL is of type string equals to empty string. We have 3 variables: the ID of the category, the name of the category, and the icon URL, which is the icon for the category. This is our data class category. Now let's move back to the home. Let me close these. And here I'm mocking the categories. Create val categories. It's of type list of category equals to list of, and here we need to create the first category is electronics and the URL is the PNG, and category 2 is clothing HTTP, and this is the PNG URL. I'm gonna replace those by real images from online. Those are the URLs from Flat Icon. This is a very good website. I like it. Copy this and paste it here. Okay, now we need to fetch the categories. Back to our application, if you remember, we need to set a selected category and unselected categories. For this, we need to save the selected category. Val selected category equals to remember mutable state of 0. Here, just for saving the selected category and display the items of the selected categories. Lazy row content padding equals to padding values 16 dp horizontal, and the horizontal arrangement space by 8 dp. Now let's set the content of this lazy row. Items of categories size. This is the list that we're gonna create, or we created. We need to create a category shape for this item lists. So every item inside this categories list, go and create a categories chip composable and get the information from the category it. It refers to the current item. Okay, and the item is category object. Here I'm getting for every item, for every category inside the categories list that we create here, go and create a category chip composable and having those parameters: icon category get the icon, text category id dot name, and is selected, test if the selected category value equals to the index, and on click go and handle the click here. Later on we're gonna handle it, so set the selected category value to it and do the search logic or the navigation logic. Close this, and here we go. So what we've done here, I created a lazy row to display them in a row manner like this, and I created a category chip for every item in the list. It's very simple. Let me create a spacer modifier with height 16 dp. Okay, move it to here, and here we go. Okay, because this is in the lazy row scoop. Okay, this is what we've done here. Let me test our application, run it, and here we go. Congratulations, we get the categories correctly, and we have the selected category is displayed in green. But there is a problem. Where are the icons of those categories? I think because we are fetching from online, we need to add the internet permission inside the manifest. Users permission, internet, and here we go. Run again, and here we go. In order to display images from network and display image from URLs, we need to use libraries. And in our project, we used the coil. If we go to Android developer site and search for loading images, we get this page. Here we have two main libraries, Coil and Glide. Coil, an image loading library backed by Kotlin coroutines, and Glide, a fast and efficient image loading library for Android focused on smooth scrolling, and by Google. We have two options, but there is something very interesting here. In order to get and display images from online, we need to use a networking library with Coil. So instead of using only the Coil implementation, we need to implement this. Copy it and paste it here, sync the project, and here we go. Now let's test our application, run the app, and here we have two images, and here we go. The icons appear. So this is how we display images using the Coil library from the network. Okay, this is a very simple and very tricky thing in Coil library. Also, there is another way to test and display images, but not from online, from local. So you can store images inside a drawable folder. And here you should, in this case, change the icon URL from string to int variable, because Android will read the images as an integer. The reading type of images in Android is integer. So this is how we display images from online using Coil library. You should add this dependency for the network HTTP library. Welcome back. We finished from the categories section. Now let's move to the featured products section. In order to mock the products, we need to create another model class, another data class named as product. This data class has 5 parameters or 5 attributes. Val ID, it's of type string. You can make it as integers, but for demonstrations and for room library, later on we're using the string. It's similar, it's of type string. Val price, it's of type double. equals to 0.0. Val image URL, it's of type string. Val category ID, it's of type string. So we created this data class called product, having 5 attributes: the ID of the product, the name of the product, the price, the image URL, and the category ID that this product belongs to. So every product has a category ID referencing for example, the specific categories. For example, a headset is a product referring and included inside the electronics category. Okay, so this is the link. Category ID is the link between the products and the category class. Later on, we're going to create this class as an entity class, which is a table name in Room database. Now we are able to mock the products creation. Here inside the featured product section, we need to create another row, another lazy row, in order to create these featured products. Okay, so let me create a new val products list equals to list of, and let me create a product at first. Import the class. Now we need to set the product ID 1, for example, a smartphone, and here we need to set the image of the smartphone. I'll copy this image and paste it here. Then we need to create another product number 2, set the ID as integer, copy this image and paste it here. Here we go. Those are the products inside the products list. Okay, you can add more as you like. Now we need to fetch it inside the featured products. Let's create a lazy row, add some parameters for this row: content padding values horizontal 16 dp and horizontal arrangement spaced by 60. Now inside this lazy row, we need to create the items list, and set the list here, products list, then open this scoop. Here we use the items function in order to fetch all the items inside the products list. So every product inside this products list, we need to create a compose, a template, a card for it, and display it inside the featured products section. In the next video, we're going to compose the featured product card, which is a standalone file and a composable that is responsible for displaying the items in a card way, exactly like this. Welcome back. Now let's design this composable that displays the featured product inside this card. So we have this card and this image, this badge, 3 text views, and 1 icon, which is for the star. For this purpose, create a new Kotlin file named as featured product card. Let me create a new composable named as featured product card. It takes into the parameters a product and on product click, which is a lambda expression for a later implementation, and return nothing. Let me start by this card, the card composable, and let me define here some parameters. On click, go and use the on product click, and the modifier equals to modifier dot width 280 dp. Import the extension and set the shape to rounded corner shape 16 dp and the card elevation to 4 dp. Inside this card, go and create a box layout because we need to make this discount badge. So we need to display this discount badge. Create a new file named as discount badge. Create a new composable function, discount badge, discount %, and a modifier. Alt plus enter to import the modifier. So here the discount % displays the discount, And inside this discount badge, we need to create a box. The modifier is passed as a modifier. So we need to use the modifier that it's passed as a parameter. Dot clip, rounded corner, shape, 4dp. I have imported the wrong modifier. It's not from Java Lang Reflect. I need to use the modifier of Jetpack Compose. So use modifier Jetpack Compose dot background and set it to make it as a color and include it inside these import. And here we go. Okay, this is the box. Now, inside this box, text equals to. We need to display the discount percent, which is, for example, 1% or 2% off. The color is white, and set the modifier padding to 8dp. It's good, and vertical 4dp. Here, font weight dot bold. Okay. Now back to the featured product card. Inside this featured product box, we need to create a discount badge. So use the discount to display a discount percent and a modifier. For this, we need to start with discount percent equals to product price. I'm going to make a discount on the actual price. So I'm dividing it over 100, or you can simply write 5%. Okay. The modifier equals to modifier dot align and set the alignment to top start dot padding 8dp and z index, which is to f. This is for the discount badge. Now we need to create another column inside this box, which is another layout. Set the modifier and the z index 1f. Inside this column, create an image, a text, and another 2 rows. Let me start with the column. We have this image, the painter. Remember async image painter as we did before. Alt plus enter to import it, and Alt plus enter to import this image composable. Product image URL, description, product name, and the modifier fill maximum width, and the height, which is 150 dp. Okay, and here we need to set another parameter, which is the content scale dot fit. In the next video, we're gonna create and continue with this column and this featured product card. And also we're gonna create another composables and layouts, especially for the rows, because here we have a row and this is inside a column. And also we need to see how we display the box. Inside this box, we have this badge and this image. Let's continue with this featured product card. We created the image and the discount badge. Now let's continue with these texts. Here inside this column, create a new spacer, 8dp, set a new text to product name, because we need to display the product name, the style. In Jetpack Compose, overflow equals to text overflow dot ellipses is used to control how text is displayed when it doesn't fit within its container, like a box, row, or column. Here, when the text is too long to fit in the available space, you limit the number of lines using maximum lines. And here in this way, we set it to 1. This property adds ellipses to indicate that the text has been truncated. Okay, so this will add the 3 points ellipses when the text is being trimmed. Then create another row. Inside this row, parameters, create vertical alignment to alignment dot center vertically. And this row, set the text inside it, product price, style, title medium, and the color is primary. This is for the text, which is the product text. Outside this row, you can create another row similar to what we've done before, vertical alignment, center vertically, create an icon. I prepared this icon, so copy it and paste it inside the drawable folder here. Name it as star, click OK, and here we go. So this is our icon. Now we need to set the content description to rating. Tint equals to secondary color or any other colors. For example, primary color is good. The modifier equals to modifier.size and set it to 16 dp. Set the spacer to 4 dp and another text displaying the product ID. Okay, so here, let me add, instead of price, set it to ID. You can add for the product many attributes like ratings, like original price, like manufacturer, like model year, and so on, as you like, okay? It's up to you. Style equals to material theme dot body small. Here we go. This is our featured product. Let me call it inside our home screen. So back to the home screen. Feature the product section. We created this list. It's of type list of 2 products, and inside this items we need to create for every product inside this list. Go and create a feature the product card and pass this product to it. And the on click on product click here we need to handle the click event here. Let me run, and congratulations guys, this is our featured product section. We displayed it a very simple and very clean. Okay, this is our featured product sections. Till now we finished the main user interface, and congratulations guys. Welcome back. Now let's start designing the other screens. I'll start from the cart. So when the user clicks on this cart, the app will direct him to the cart screen. Inside the screens package, create a new package named as cart. Make sure the screens.cart and not screens.home.cart. Click OK, and here we go. This is the home package and this is the cart package. Create a new Kotlin file. Name it as cart screen. Start with a composable cart screen. Later on, we need to pass the view model and the nav controller, but for now, we are fine. Let me start with a list of products. So cart items, I'm mocking it. List of product, for example. Here we need to pass the ID, for example, 3, name smartphone, price $999, and the image URL. Copy this from the home screen and paste it here. I'll make the inside this cart only one product to distinguish it. Okay, the ID is a string, and now let me create a column modifier for maximum size, padding 16 dp. Inside it, create a text. And set the modifier 16 dp. This is for the text. Now, if the cart items is empty, we need to display a text and a button, like continue shopping as a button and the text showing that your cart is empty. For this, create them inside a column with a modifier fill maximum size, arrangement on center, and center horizontal. Inside this column, we need to create, as I told you, a text. Your cart is empty. Change the modifier to style. And the spacer, 16 dp. A button. And text, continue shopping. Okay, this is for the button. If the cart item is empty, go and display a text. Your cart is empty and the button continue shopping. Else, if the cart is not empty, go and create a lazy column, and inside this column, create the items and display for us what the user has chosen. lazy column, weight 1F, and we need to use our friend items, set the cart items list, and for every item in this list, go and create a cart item cart. This is the composable that we're going to create in the next video. Welcome back. Before we continue with this else statement, so we're going to display the products inside the lazy column, we need to create the cart item cart. Inside the cart, create a new Kotlin file named as cart item cart. Create a new composable named as cart item cart, taking into the parameter item, it's of type product, and on remove item, which is a lambda expression. Alt plus enter to import the product. And inside this, we need to create a card with a modifier. Import the class modifier from Compose and fill maximum width dot padding, and the elevation equals to card defaults 2dp. This is for the card. Now, inside this card, we need to create a row. So I'm creating here the card. We displayed your card, and here we have an card item layout. We have the image of the product, two texts, one for the name of the product and the price and the ID. We have this recycler bin, so we can remove this product from the cart. Also, it's displayed into the cart composable. For this, we created a row. Let me define some attributes. Fill maximum width and padding 16dp. Set the vertical alignment to alignment.center vertically. And here we go. Inside the row, create an image. And set the content scale to content scale crop. Okay, this is the image. We created many in the previous videos. Now let me create a spacer with width 16dp. Then we need to create a column for the name and the price texts. This is the first column. So this is the first column, and the second column, we need to create the item name and the remove property here. Inside it, let me create a row, and the row vertical alignment.center vertically. Body large. Okay, this is the text. Outside this row scoop, create the icon button on click on remove item, and the modifier equals to size 24. Inside it, create an icon with default delete and content description remove item. Create another curly braces for the row, and one for the card, and one for the card item. But I missed here to close the parentheses. Okay, this is our card item card. Okay, let's move to the cart screen and continue with it. Welcome back. Let's continue with the cart screen. Inside this lazy column, we created items, and for every item inside the cart items list, go and create a cart item cart. This is the new composable that we created in the previous couple of minutes. Okay, now we need to pass the item, which is the item, and on remove item, handle remove item. Later on, we'll call the view model, and inside the view model, we need to call another function, which is the remove from cart, and pass the item. But this is for later implementation when we move to the functional part of the application. Here, outside this lazy column, go and create the total and checkout section. If you notice here, this is the checkout section. We have one text, two texts, and the button. So we have two texts and one button. This is in a row, and this is in a column with the texts. Okay, so for this, create a column. Create a row. Inside this row, we need to create some parameters, the modifier. Okay, so inside this row, create a text, total and style equals to material theme dot typography dot title medium. Then create another text. Here we need to call the view model dot calculate total like this for later implementation. Okay, this is good for our text. Now let me create a spacer here, 16 dp, and create a button, handle checkout, and the modifier fill maximum width, height 50 dp, create a text, proceed to checkout. Okay, this is very simple. We created our cart screen, displaying the cart item card like this, allowing the user to remove it from the cart. And also we introduced this checkout section, displaying the total of the prices of the selected items and the products. Okay, this is our application. We finished the cart screen. Now we're going to move to the profile screen. Inside this package screens, create a new package named as profile. Inside this package, create a new Kotlin file, name it as profile screen. Close other screens, start with a new composable, profile screen. We need to pass on sign out, which is a lambda expression. We need to get the current user, but at first we need to create inside this model package a new Kotlin class named as user profile. This is a data class. We need to create a data class for our users. Val user ID is of type string, val name string, and val email is of type string, and here we go. So this is a data class for the user profile containing three parameters, three properties: user ID, username, and email. We need to get use of this user profile data class. I'll create current user demo 1 user profile. I set the ID 77 James Bond, the name of the user, and email james@bond.com. Okay, this is a current user. I'm mocking the current user. Later on, we're going to use the Firebase authentication system to get the user login and get the property of the user. Create a column. What we're going to create is like this screen, the user profile, name, email, and the sign out button. For this, create a column with modifier equals to modifier 16 dp, and set the horizontal alignment to center horizontally. Set the profile header spacer 32 dp, set the profile picture 120 dp, clip circle shape, and background content alignment.center. Inside it, create an icon, which is for the profile, image vector default person, profile picture, size 80 dp, and on primary container. Then outside it, we need to create a spacer 24 dp. Let's start with the user info. Create a text, current user dot name, headline medium as a style, and the font weight bold. Then create a spacer 8 dp, and the last thing is the text, the current user email. Okay, this is good. Then we need to create this sign out button. On click sign out, modifier align horizontal. Then set the modifier fill maximum width. And also you can set the colors attribute, error container, and content color on error container. Inside this button, create a text named as sign out. Set the modifier padding 4 dp. This is our profile screen. Hello developers and welcome back. In this video, we're going to implement the navigation system for our app. So we're going to allow the user when he clicks on any of these buttons, it will direct him to the corresponding screen. So for example, if the user clicks on the cart button, the app will direct the user to the cart screen. Also true for the profile screen, the categories screen, featured product screen, and also for these navigation buttons, also for the product details screen. Okay, so for that, search for navigation with Compose. It will direct you to the developer.android.com/develop/UI/compose/navigation. Okay, copy this dependency, add it to the gradle.kts file, and here replace it with health navigation later when we implement navigation. But for now, it's good. Sync now, and we've added the navigation compose to our project. Now let's move to the main activity, and here remove the e-commerce app theme, and let's start implementing the navigation system. Start with val nav controller equals to remember nav controller. Nav controller and remember nav controller are parts of Jetpack Compose navigation, which help you navigate between screens or composables in a Compose app. Remember nav controller, this function creates and remembers a nav controller instance. The nav controller is what controls navigation, like going from one screen to another. And this variable nav controller, you are creating a variable named nav controller, so you can pass it to your host, nav host, and use it for navigation actions. Why remember? Navigation in Jetpack Compose is very critical and very case sensitive. Jetpack Compose is declarative, so the UI is recomposed often. If you don't use remember, if you use nav controller like this, Compose might recreate the nav controller every time it recomposes, which would break the navigation. Remember nav controller ensures that the same nav controller is used across recompositions. It persists as long as the composition where it's used is alive. The next step is the nav host. Nav host use the two parameters, nav controller and pass the nav controller that we created just now, and start destination equals to home. Then we need to use the nav graph builder. The nav host in Jetpack Compose navigation, it's the core component that manages navigation between composable screens. Nav host is like the navigation container. It displays the current screen based on the navigation route and listens to nav controller to decide which composable to show. We start with a nav controller by passing it as a parameter, and we created it just before. To specify the home and the start destination, we need to declare it here as a composable. So inside the nav host, here we need to define the routes using composable for each screen you want to support. Nav host listens to nav controller. When you call something like nav controller.navigate, the nav host switches to the composable, to the desired composable. It keeps track of the back stack too. So pressing the back button pops screens in reverse order. Don't worry, we're going to see them in details. So here, the first thing we need to set is the composable. Composable, set the name, the route, home, and where is our screen home? It's a home screen composable that we already created, and pass the nav controller equals to nav controller that we created. Let's go to the home screen, and here inside the constructor pass an object of type nav controller. The second screen we have is the cart. So composable cart, and we create a cart screen. Also, we need to pass the nav controller parameter as a nav controller. We need to modify the cart screen. Here, pass the nav controller and pass it like this. The third screen we create is the composable profile. So here the profile, go and create a profile screen. Also, we need to modify the profile screen. Instead of passing only the on sign out, we need to pass the nav controller object. So here, pass it like this. Nav controller equals to nav controller, and we need to pass the sign out. Don't pass anything for now, just pass an empty parenthesis. Okay, so this is how we define our composables, our destinations, our screens inside the nav host. And also we specify that the start destination of our app is the home screen. Let's run the application, and everything is working fine. No errors. Welcome back. Now, let's use the nav controller to navigate between the screens. I want to modify the home screen constructor. Also, I need to pass on profile click, which is a lambda expression, returns nothing. On cart click, also a lambda expression, returns nothing. Okay, now let me move back to the home screen. And here we need to pass the new parameters, the on profile click and on cart click. On profile click equals to set the nav controller dot navigate profile. Also on cart click, nav controller dot navigate to cart. Okay, we need to surround them with lambda. So here I'm defining when the user clicks on the profile, go and use the navigate controller.navigate and go to the profile. On cart click, go to the cart screen. Let me run, and here we go. Let me click on the cart. Nothing happened. The screen, and this is due to the unused nav controller and on profile click here in the home screen. Scroll down. This is the categories. May go to the top app bar, and here we need to pass to the top app bar on profile and on cart click. So here on profile and on cart click. On profile click and on cart click is passed to the top app bar. Let me open my top app bar and add the functions. Also, you can click like this, add parameters for the top app bar. You can notice that Android Studio added the on profile click and on cart click. Then we need to use those Lambda expressions here in the icons. So here in the cart, let me call on cart click and icon button for the profile on profile click. Let's test our application now. Here we go. Click on cart and this is our cart. Go back, click on the profile and here we go. This is our screen. Okay, so thank you guys. It's very important to understand and implement the navigation system in the applications, and it's very critical because anything you miss, the navigation will stop and will not work. Welcome back. We finished the cart screen and the profile screen, and we implemented the navigation system correctly. Now let's move to the categories section, and when the user clicks on see all, we need to direct him to the categories screen. Inside this category screen, we have in a lazy grid category items. Every category item represents an item in the database. So we're going to design the category items and display them into the category screen. For this, inside the screens package, create a new package named as categories. Inside this categories package, create a new Kotlin file named as category item. Composable function category item category, and on click we need to create a lambda expression turning unit. Let me create a cart. Set the modifier to modifier. Fill maximum width and make it clickable. Set the shape to rounded corner and set the card elevation to 4 dp. Then specify the colors and use the surface. Now, inside this card, we need to specify a box. And inside this box, we have a column containing an image and a text. Let me create a background gradient color by making a new box. And set the alpha to 0.2 f. Okay, this is for the box. This is just a background overlay. I don't need to make anything here or include it inside this box. Okay, now let's create a column. Set the vertical arrangement to center and horizontal arrangement to center horizontally. Inside this column, we need to create the box that contains the image. So exactly, we're going to create like this here. Let me start with box, modifier, set the size to 80 dp. Use the surface pair variant as background. And now let's create this image. Set the painter, remember async image painter, and set the model as image request dot builder. Get the local context. We need to display the image in a circular shape. So for this, we're going to customize the coil builder by using data category.icon URL and cross fade through and set the build button. So here I'm customizing the holder, the image holder as a circular, and we're going to display the image inside it. The content description the modifier, fill maximum size, and the content scale equals to prop. Okay, this is just for displaying the image in a circular way. So for this, I use this model, this image request. Then create a spacer. After the spacer, use the category name with better typography. So this is good. This is our category item displaying the image and the category name of every category available in our database. Welcome back. We created the category item composable like this. Now let's create the categories screen. Inside the categories package, create a new Kotlin file, name it as category screen. Create a new composable function, category screen. Pass the nav controller for later navigation. Pass the on category click, which is a lambda expression, or you can remove it and implement it directly in the category item composable. Okay. If you remember, inside the home screen, we created the categories. We created 2 categories inside a list. This is just for demonstration. I'm not making any logic here. I'm just copying and pasting, and just for demonstration, I created fake and demo information. Later, when we move to the functionality part and we start implementing our Firebase and Hilt, we're going to use the view model. And for this, we're not going to use this categories list. We're going to use the view model. And from the view model, we get the categories and collect them as a state. So later, we're going to modify our code. Okay? But this is just for demonstration and just for showing the UI. Column, if categories is empty, then create a box, and inside this box, create a text telling no categories found. Then create a text, no categories found. Else, create a text, categories, set the style to bold, material theme.typography, title large. This is the text. Now let's create the categories grid. Set the grids count to 3, 1, 2, 3. And set the modifier to modifier.fill maximum with set the padding to 8 dp horizontally. Okay. Now, inside the lazy grid scoop, create the items function and use a list of categories because we are going to fetch the categories and display them into a lazy grid. Set the category. Here I am telling for every category inside the categories, go and create a category item, pass the category as the category in the lambda, then use on click. There's no need for those. Here, set the nav controller.navigate. So when the user clicks on any of those categories, we need to display and fetch all the products available inside this category. Okay, this is for later use and later implementation. Handle the click event on categories. Okay, this is our category screen. Move to the home screen, and when the user clicks on see all, here we need to do the navigation. If we go to the section title, we have 3 parameters. On action click is the lambda expression. We need to pass it here. Nav controller.navigate to categories. Let's go back to the main activity. Whenever you create any new screen, you should add it here inside the nav host. Okay, so composable, name categories, go and create a screen called categories or category screen. Pass the nav controller as the Lambda expression or as a parameter. Click on see all, and here we go. This is our screen, electronics and clothing. Okay, so this is very beautiful. You can see the rounded corners, the rounded shape, and for the cars and the image, and the title categories, the text, and everything is good. Black for the text. Go to category item, scroll down the text, set the color to color and set it to this color, and this is good. Let me run again. Click see all. Let me add another color. This is good. Opacity full, and now it's better. Also, there is another mistake here. We need to make it like maximum lines is 1 because I don't need to look like electronics. See all, and here you can notice that electronic and clothing. Okay, thank you guys. This is for the category screen. In the next videos, we're going to continue with our application to implement the featured products and the navigation button. Welcome back. We finished the categories screen. Now let's move to create the products screen. Inside this screens package, create a new package named as product. Inside the products, create a new Kotlin file named as product item. Create a new composable named as product item. Taking into the parameter a product object, on click a Lambda expression, on add to cart a Lambda expression. Alt plus enter to import it, and here we go. This is our product item composable. This is when the user clicks on the product, it will direct the user to the product details. On add to cart, we're going to add it to the cart, so we are going to execute a room operation, a database operation to save it locally, and then we're going to fetch it from the room database when the user goes to the cart screen, exactly like this. Okay, now these are for later implementation when we move to the functional part of the app, but for now let's design the screen. Start with a card composable, and inside this card we need to set the modifier dot padding 8 dp, alt plus enter to import the extension, dot fill maximum width, dot height 200 dp, and set it to clickable. When the user clicks on the card, go and execute the onClick function. Set the shape, rounded corners shape 12 dp, default elevation 4 dp. Actually, we are going to design like this screen. So we're going to create this item, and inside the item, we're going to have the image, the product image, the add to cart, LG TV, for example, the title, the price, and the ID or the category ID. Okay, so for this, let's start by box. Inside this box, set the product image as background. Get the image URL and set the content description. Set the modifier to modifier.fill maximum clip, rounded corner shape 12 dp, and set it to crop. Okay, this is the image that will act as a background for our box. Now, set a gradient overlay to improve text visibility. So if you notice here that the background is different from the card color. So for this, we're going to add an overlay. Create a box. Colors list of, for example, color.transparent and color.black. We can make a copy alpha, make a visibility 0.6f, which is 60%. start y 0f, and positive infinity. This is for creating a vertical gradient brush using Jetpack Compose, which can be used to paint areas like backgrounds or overlays in your UI. The brush here, this creates a vertical gradient brush. The colors blend from top to bottom. You can apply this brush to elements like box, exactly like this case, text or image modifiers using background brush. Okay, exactly like we use it inside this box. The colors, we specified the colors, transparent and black. Transparent, completely invisible. And here we are setting black, 60% opacity. This creates a fading to black effect from top to bottom. And start Y 0F, the gradient starts at the top of the painted area, 0F on the Y axis. And the end Y float positive infinity, the gradient extends downwards infinitely, meaning it will cover the entire vertical space available to the element. Now, let's move to the product name and the price. Alignment bottom start for this column, and inside this column, go and create the texts. So here, then we need to start with the first text. Text equals to product name, Alt plus enter to import the text composable. And the color is white. Okay, this is the first text. Second text composable. And color white, font bold, and style material theme, title medium. After that, we need to set outside this box the icon buttons, which is this, add to cart. This is the color and the shape, circle shape. Here I'm creating the button, icon button, modifier add to cart, on click, and the modifier align, padding, and background. Then inside this icon button, create the icon, which is the image vector, defaults, shopping cart. This is our product item. In the next video, we're gonna use it inside the product screen to display the items and details of the items. Actually, in the previous video, we were designing the template, the composable for every product inside the category. So we designed like this layout. The background will be the image of the product, the name, the price, and the add to cart button. Now let's design the products screen. Inside our product package, create a new Kotlin file, name it as product screen. Composable function, product screen, category ID, nav controller. And later when we add the functionality for our application, we're going to create and pass two view models, the product view model and the cart view model. But for now, it's simple now. Now we need to fetch the products when the screen is first displayed. Also, we're going to fetch the products from the view model, but I'll make it as a note here, fetch products from the view model. Let's display the products. Column, composable, modifier, fill maximum size. And inside this column, create the first text, which is the title. We get the category ID and display it here. Customize this text, set the style, title large, 16 dp. If there is no product, create. If products is empty, I need to create the products list. So here I'll mock the creation of products. Actually, I'm not going to get the products from the view model now. We're going to create as a list a new val products equals to list of, and here I'm going to create a product number 1 smartphone, for example, and product number 2 laptop. We can create product number 3 headphones, for example, and so on. Okay, these are the products, product 1, 2, and 3. Later in the next videos, we're going to remove this mock and for this fake products and get the real products from the view model. Let's scroll down and back to here. If products is empty, display a text for us. No products found. Then else, create a lazy column, content padding values 8 dp, and set the lazy list scope. Let me start with items, and here I'm getting the products from the products list that we created before. We have 3 products. We can make it like this, or we can remove the size here and use the products as the scoop. Remove it like this. And here we are calling the composable function that we created before, which is the product item. Okay. Inside the product item, we need to pass 3 parameters: the product, the on-click, and on-cart or on-add to cart. This is the first parameter. This is the second parameter. Start with nav controller dot navigate, and here we need to navigate to product details screen with the product. Okay, so I want to write it down. So when the user clicks on any product, we need to navigate to the product details screen. So we're going to design another screen which is for the product detail. So when the user clicks on this LG TV, I want to display this TV in a new screen displaying all the product details. Okay? In order to gather all the navigations in one class, in the next video, we're going to create the screen class that contains all the routes. I'm going to join all the routes and the navigation in our application. So here I skip it now, and on cart, add to cart, let me specify you need to add the product to cart, and this is when we add the room database insertion. So we're going to call the view model and add to cart function, which is a room database insertion function. Okay, this is our product screen. In the next video, we're going to fix the navigation, and we're going to set the correct route for every screen. Welcome back. We need to organize all the navigation routes in one class. So inside the screens, create a new package, name it as navigation. Inside this navigation, create a new Kotlin class, name it as screens. I'll make it as sealed class and get val root. It's of type string. You should specify all the screens here in one class, because if you, for example, if you specify navigate for home and you didn't write home like this, you write it, for example, like this or like this, Android Studio will not recognize this route because it's case sensitive. So to prevent these errors in the navigation, we're going to create the object for every route. For example, product, object, cart, it's of type screen, and here you specify the string for the cart. Again, if we need to create the product details, it's a screens object, and here you specify the product details slash, you need to pass the product ID. Product ID. This will return a new function, create route product ID. It's of type string, and this is equals to product screen product underscore details slash product ID. Let me explain what we've did here. This is the class called screens. Inside this screens class, we need to define the screen routes for navigation in Compose. Each object inside this class represents a screen in the app's navigation graph. Cart object defines a singleton object cart that inherits from screens. The constructor parameter cart is the route used for the navigation. If we go back to our main activity, scroll down inside the home, you can notice that the root is home. We specify it in exact word, and it's case sensitive. As I told you, home is different from this, is different from this, is different from this, or any other mistakes. So in order to prevent any errors, any mistakes, or mismatching, you need to use a class that represents every screen route. If you go back to the main activity, home screen, on cart click, you can notice that the navigation controller dot navigate to the cart. We specified exactly the route by a string. In order to prevent any errors like specifying cart like this or any mistake, we need to join all the routes in one screen. So instead of using and writing the cart in this way, we're going to use the screens shield class dot cart dot toString, or we can use it like this dot root. So here I am using the cart from the screens. Also we have the profile. So let me create another object here, profile screens, and make sure you match the desired ones. So copy it and paste it here. Now instead of using the hard-coded string, we use screens dot profile dot root. Okay, it's very simple. I'm just joining everything in one class. Okay, now let me move to here. We have the product details. I want from you to focus with me because now it contains parameters. This defines a route for a screen that takes a dynamic argument. This is a dynamic argument, product ID. The route is product details and slash product ID. Product ID, for example, 1, 2, 3. So I will pass product details slash 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever you want. The route is product details slash product ID, meaning when navigating, you'll replace product ID with a real ID. For example, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, or whatever you want. Instead of building the route manually every time, you can use here inside the products details. Instead of navigate to home, we need to navigate to the product details. So screens, product details. Later we're going to create this product details dot create route, and we need to pass the product dot ID. Here I need to fix the product. So pass the product like this and use the list of, let me check the items. Need to use the list. Here remove the S and here remove S and the product ID. Okay, it's very simple. I am navigating to products details screen and passing the product ID as an argument to tell the screen, the product details screen, which product we need to display the details for it. In this way, I'm navigating with arguments. It's very, very simple. Now, let's continue with the other screens and routes. For example, in the next videos, we're going to create the product list. It's of type screens, category, ID, function. Here we go. similar to what we've done before, I created a root for the product list screen. It takes an argument, category ID, and not the product ID. Here I am displaying a product list of all products included in the specified category ID. So give me the category ID, I'll give you the complete root. For example, the category ID for the electronics is 1. So here I'm passing the electronics and get all the products inside the electronics category. Okay, it's very, very important navigation system. Also, let me create an object for category list, screens, category list. In this way, we organized all the roots inside one class. When the user clicks on any product of any category, we need to direct him for this screen displaying the product details like name, price, category ID, or description, and the image. Also, we're going to allow the user to add it to the cart. In this video, we're going to design this screen. Now, the product item is ready. So there's no need to make a new product item. Inside the products, create a new Kotlin file named as product details screen. We need to pass the product ID in order to display the details for it. And later we're going to modify this product's details screen constructor and pass the view models like the product details view model and the cart view model in order to fetch the product details from the view model. Okay, so I'll skip this part for later. And here, fetch the product details. These are the 2 steps that we're going to skip it for now. For example, you can create a product, a dummy product here. For example, 1 smartphone, price, and the image URL. Okay, this is the dummy product. If product equals to null, then we need to show a loading or error state. Text, product not found. Else, we need to create a column and display the image, the text, another text for the product price, and the product description. Okay, so here, import the text, and let me remove this. And here, start with a new column. Set the modifier maximum size 16 dp. Inside this column, display and product image. Remember async image painter. Set the model my product image URL. Set the content description and the content scale crop. So here we specified the content scale for the image URL. We specified the content description and the modifier. Then create a spacer, 16 dp. Font weight.bold. Then we create a spacer, set the modifier.height 8 dp, product price, and get the price. Okay, then we need to create a spacer, 16 dp, and the last text, product description if found. So in order to make a possibility of product description, we need to set it like this: product id dot description if found, or category product id or product description if found. So if you want to add for the model class product, you can add description, a variable here, and display it inside this tag. But for now, I'm going to get the category ID, and if it is not found, go and create a text displayed as no description found. Okay, it's very simple. Then outside this column, create an icon button to add to the cart. On button click, here we need to handle add to cart event. Okay, later when we create the cart view model, we're going to call it here. But now we're going to pass it as an empty string or empty parenthesis. Set the modifier padding to 16 dp. And set the shape circular shape. Then inside this icon button, create an icon like this, image vector shopping cart, add to cart, and color white. Okay, this is our product details screen. Later, we're going to add and handle the add to cart event. Also, we're going to implement our view models. But for now, we're good to make the UI for this stage. Okay. Previously, we created two new screens, the product details screen and the product screen. We need to test them and display them in our emulator. And for every new screen you create, we need to create a composable function inside our nav host of the main activity. So here we have the home, we have cart, the profile, categories, screens. We're going to specify the remaining composables and the remaining routes. And as I told you in the previous video, we organized all the routes in one screens and one sealed class called screens. So we're going to use for example, the cart. Instead of writing cart, you can simply write screens.cart.route. Okay. Also for the profile, instead of using the cart, use the profile. Okay. Then let me create the product details composable here. Screens.productDetails.route. Here we are testing the argument because product ID is an argument. We need to pass it to the product details screen, as I told you before, in order to display the correct ID, the correct product ID, and get the details for it. Okay, this is our composable. This way, when you have arguments, you should create the route like this and the composable in the nav host like this. Then, new composable. This is for the product screen. So here, create screen. We created the product list, which is the product screen. So here, product list.route, product ID, get the product ID, and the key, not category ID, it's product ID. Then if the product ID is not null, then go to the product screen, okay. Product ID, I can fetch we need to display all the products inside the category. So here, category ID, not product ID. So here I'm getting the composable for the product ID in order to display all the products inside the product screen. Another parameter we need to pass is the nav controller, like this. There is an error here, required int found string. We can go to the product screen and change it to string like this, and everything will work fine. Also add the screens like this, and here we go. Now let's add and handle the click events on the categories, the products, and the product details. Close all and go to the category screen. Let me start from here. We didn't use the nav controller. Scroll down, and here we need to handle the click event on any category item. Remove this. Nav controller dot navigate. We need to navigate to the screens product list, insert the screens, seal the class and category ID. So when the user clicks on any category, we need to navigate to the category ID. Run. For example, click see all, and I'll click on electronics. Here we go. This is our product list and the product screen. If I click on any of the products, you can notice the products details screen. This is a very important, and by the way, the items are not displayed correctly because I used dummy data, if you remember. So later we're going to fix this issue when we implement the view models. So this is our details, product details screen, and this is our product list screen. Welcome back. Now let's design the last two screens, the login and the sign up screens. Inside the profile package, create a new Kotlin file, name it as sign up screen. Start with new composable function, sign up screen. I need to pass on navigate to login because we need to make an option to log in. And when the user successfully sign up, we need to direct him to the login screen or to the home screen. On sign up, success, create a new lambda expression, and later we need to create a view model. So here I'll skip the view model, which is specific for authentication. Later we're going to implement the authentication in a view model, but till now we're good. Okay. The authentication is done in Firebase, so we're going to use the Firebase authentication service, and I'm gonna implement the email and password method. For this, create var email by remember, mutable state of empty screen, var password by remember, mutable state of empty string, import the value that get, and import the value of remember, var confirm password by remember, of course it's empty string. Then create a val auth state. Later we're going to use the view model to get the auth state. I'll set it to true, but later we need to create an auth states. Start with if auth state is true, then on sign up success. Okay, go and execute on sign up success. Create a new column. Here, let's start designing the layout of our sign up screen. The modifier dot fill maximum size and padding 16 dp. Arrangement dot center. Now, inside this column, create a text. Start with a text. (32 dp). This is the text. We need to allow the user to enter the email. For this, create a new composable called outlined text field. We need to have the text field with outline. Set the value to the email. On value change, email equals to it. Label email and keyboard options. So when the user click done, we're going to go to the next step, which is the password. Okay, but before we move to the password, we need to specify the modifier, fill maximum width, set the single line to true. Another outlined text view or text field is the password. So similar to what we've done before, I'm gonna create outline text field, value password, on value change, set the password to it, label password, and IME action next, password like this. And here, set the modifier to fill maximum width, set the padding to 8 dp and single line to true. Now we need to create another outlined text field, which is for confirm password. Outline text field, value, confirm password. On value change, set the confirm password to it. Set the label to a new text composable. Visual transformation, password, visual transformation. Keyboard options. And here, instead of next, we're going to use done. When the user confirmed the password, we are done. Okay? The modifier fill maximum width and padding, vertical 8 dp, single line true. And one last thing we need to specify is the error, password error. So here we need to create a variable to hold the password error. It's of type string. Go up, set a new variable, password error, by remember, mutable state of, set it to null at first, and make a string which can be nullable. Okay, this is our password error variable. Scroll down in order to set it like this. Password error doesn't equal to null. Supporting text, password error, password error, let the text equals to it, and the color error. Okay, then create a new spacer outside the text field, 16 dp, and set the button here to confirm the password and the email. So here button, on click, we need to check if the password is matching to the confirmed password. If password doesn't equal to null or confirm password, set the password error, passwords don't match. Another check we need to do is else if password dot length less than 6 characters, go and create a password error. Password should be at least 6 characters. And otherwise, if the password is matching the confirmed password and the password length greater than 6, go and set the password error to null. And here, navigate to login. You can call the view model and use the sign up from the view model, from the auth view model. Okay, so here I'll mark it like this in order to remember that we need to call the view model. Scroll down, set the modifier, maximum width, 50 dp. Enabled to email is not empty, checking is not empty, and password is not empty, and confirm password is not empty. Then we need to set the auth state to loading. Later, we're going to implement the auth state class or enum. But for now, I'll set it to, for example, loading. I'll comment this whenever we implement the auth state later in our project. We're going to use it and enable it. Okay, but for now, this is good. Inside it, create a text, sign up. Here we need to make a case. If auth state is loading, then we need to make something here, like displaying a circle or progress indicator, else display the sign up text. Okay, it's very simple. Create a spacer, height 16 dp, text button, on click, on navigate to login. Already have an account, then go to the login. And when the user clicks on this text, we're going to navigate to login. This is the logic, okay? In most of our applications and other applications, we use the same logic. Here I am setting and checking if auth state is error. So here, display the error message. If auth state is error, display the text error. Okay, so later in the next videos, we're going to implement the auth states when we talk about the auth and authentication. But for now, it's very simple. We created this screen, the sign up screen. Also, we need to add it to the main activity, nav host, and add it to the screens object and the sealed class. In the next videos, we're going to do this. Welcome back. Now let's design the login screen. And by the way, this is the last screen we're gonna create. Create a new Kotlin file inside the profile package. Name it as login screen. Create a new composable function named as login screen, and inside the login screen constructor, pass on navigate to sign up, which is a lambda expression. The second parameter on login success, a lambda expression of type parameter types nothing and returning type nothing or void. And the last parameter is the auth view model, but I'm not gonna implement it here. Later in the next videos, we're gonna talk about it. Let's create the email and password, because in the login screen, we have only the email and password. Then we need to get the auth state. Later, we're gonna use it by the view model, but now I'll make it as true. And I'll set it to login. Also, you can set it to false if you want, if there is no login. So here, if auth state is success, go and execute on login success. Otherwise, we need to create a column to display a field, a login to allow the user to log in. Here we have the column modifier equals to modifier dot fill maximum width or size. You can make the size and width. Padding 16 dp. Alt plus enter to import the dp. Set the horizontal alignment to center horizontally. Vertical arrangement dot center. Then we need to specify the column scope. Inside the column scope, create a new text composable having the parameter text as login, for example, login screen, and the style equals to material theme, headline medium, 32 dp. Then we need to specify the outlined text field. Outlined text field, set the value to email. On value change, email equals to IT. Label text email, modifier, fill maximum width, and padding 8 dp. It's good. Thanks for the AI code completion in Android Studio. Also, we can set the keyboard options. For example, the keyboard options, keyboard type, set it to email, and IME action dot next. Then we're gonna create another text outline text field. Copy this outline text field and paste it here. This is for the password. Just to change the password here and here, and set the text to password. Keyboard type is password, and there's no next like in the previous screen, which is the sign up. We have a confirm password. No, we need to use it as done because only email and password. Okay, this is very simple. Now let's set the spacer. Set the height to 16 dp. Another composable, which is the button. Remove this comma. And let me check. I need to use this. And here, spacer. Remove this. Maybe I implemented the wrong spacer here. Let me remove. Scroll down. And inside this login screen. And outside the outline. So I need to remove this. And this is the text field. This is from the first text outline text field. This is the end, and the second text field. This is the end of it. And here the spacer and plus enter and the button. The problem was missing parentheses. Okay, let's continue with the button. On click, we need to handle the login. Then we need to specify the other parameters, modifier, fill maximum width, height 50 dp, create the scope of this button, text. If not loading, go and create a new text, login. Okay, this is the button. Now, outside this button, go and create another spacer, set the modifier height to 16 dp, and then create a text button. When the user click on it, on navigate to sign up. What does this text button include? It includes a text, don't have an account, sign up, and here we go. Okay, so congratulations guys, we created the login and the sign up. And now let me create the routes inside the screens. Here, create the object, which is of type screens, login, object, sign up, it's of type screens, sign up. Okay, here we go. These are the objects. Now let's move to the main activity. And here have the home. We have the profile and the cart, the categories, product details, and product list. Now let's create another composable here. Screens dot sign up dot root. Specify the sign up screen. Here we need to pass on navigate to login. Go and navigate using the nav controller dot navigate to screens dot sign or login dot root. Okay, now we need to specify the second parameter on sign up success. When the user sign up successfully, we need to direct him to the home screen. Let me check the screens. We need to create another object for the home. Go back to the success, screens, home, dot, root. Okay. Also, we need to specify it here. Go up and you can notice that it is a composable of type or of root home. Let me create it using the screens dot home dot root. Okay, I love to make everything in one place, like the categories here. Let me check. We have the categories list, so I'll replace this categories using screens dot category list dot root. Okay, there are many things we need to fix before we move to the functional part, and especially for the navigation, but don't worry, we're going to fix everything in the functional part. Now let's move to implement our functionality. Let's add the room database, let's add the Firebase integration, and the most important part, let's use the HILD dependency injection in order to use the automatic dependency injection in our application.